Yo, what it is, what it do, you know who it is, who are you? 22's back again with a brand new segment for 2024 of the basketball tip. This is called Shoot Your Shot, where we talk about the in and outs that happening in the NBA. Listen, I won't say much. I ain't gonna long talk y'all. I ain't gonna keep going no more. Back to you, FJB.
Yes, sir, boys. Came here to talk about the Emirates NBA Cup. Sidebar, man. I look them on YouTube all the time, looking at first class and stuff. Them Emirates planes be fire.
Insane.
But anyway, back to this
Best
Emirates
upgrade ever
NBA
did.
Cup. Listen, I got to do that. at some point, Yeah. But we got it. Listen, teams are fighting to go to Vegas right now. We just seen the final Bucks Magic. The Bucks edged them out with no Franz, no Paolo. That Magic team is still scrappy. They did what they could, but the Bucks, overwhelmed them. They're going to Vegas. They punched their ticket. The Mavs and the Thunder are playing right now as we record, so it remains to be seen who's going to come out of that matchup and punch their ticket to Vegas. Again, on the East side, we got the Knicks playing the Trae Young Atlanta Hawks tomorrow at the Garden. It's going to be buzzing in there. Got the Knicks hat on. You already know the vibes. I'm
gotta represent. Come on, they gotta get it. They gotta get it.
Listen, you know the vibes already. And then, of course, rounding it out, the Rockets and the Warriors. Listen, I know everybody's like, oh, regular season doesn't matter. There's too many games. The players don't care. Load management. But the NBA Cup games have been excellent. Draymond and other players have said it themselves. You can get a playoff atmosphere. You get playoff feel. There's a bunch of guys on two-way contracts that are not guaranteed, back and forth between the G League. These players are trying to win it for them, and they're also trying to win the trophy, right? So, listen, who's going to say no to extra money in your pocket?
Yeah.
Half a ticket.
Yeah,
it's half a ticket.
It is half a ticket. So who's going to say no to a little extra funds? I know Josh Hart really wants that Audemars. So he really wants that watch.
He said he want that. He said he wanted.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't care about them other dudes. So everybody got a little something to play for. Plus, it gives you a little bit of bragging rights, right? It's tournament style. We all been in tournaments when we were kids. I'm a little bit past that age bracket right now, but it's always good to win something. So, fellas, who is gonna win it all? I just gave y'all a bunch of teams, and funny enough, out west, it's a bunch of teams that you can kind of see making it to the Western Conference Finals. You got the Warriors, Rockets, the Mavs, the Thunder, all teams who have been performing thus far this season. On FanDuel, the Knicks have the second best odds to win, and on DraftKings, they have them as the best odds to win. I'm a reverse jinx guy, so I'm just like, we're not going to win it all, but secretly,
we can't do it, man.
We might have a shot. So Darnell, what you think, man? Who's gonna win this whole cup, and do the Knicks legit have a shot?
I think the way that they're playing, as I said, we're starting to really see the complete bracketed formation defense that they were talking about. OG is really playing good defense. Mikal Bridges' shot, that weird, form that he had is actually starting to come to play where he's making a lot of these shots. He had one or two bad shooting days. But you're seeing the formation something pretty good with the Knicks, But I'm not going to be a homer about this one. I am going to predict that, I'll say the Knicks could probably make it to the finals, right? But I'm going to predict in the West, the shocker for me in the West, I think it's going to be the Rockets. I think the Rockets, when you watch them play,
good.
They are pretty good. Ime Udoka has taken all of that young talent, meshed it together, and he has these young kids playing hard. Granted, the Warriors, they still got Steph. They still got the championship DNA. But I'm going to say the Rockets might be the upstart, and they might be the ones that get to the finals. But I won't jinx the Knicks, because we got to get past Trae. For some reason, Trae Young's got the Knicks number. I don't know what it is, but Trae Young has the Knicks number.
Darnell, I'm gonna send you whatever login you need tomorrow. I know you out there in Texas. We need you locked in for that game. They're gonna be at the Garden. It's gonna be buzzing. I need you buzzing. Sean, who's winning the cup, man?
I would, in a perfect world, I would love for the Knicks to win, but I don't like how they stack up against the teams in the West.
No.
Yeah. Listen, the Knicks on a night where they're hitting on all cylinders, just like any other team in the NBA. But the more so the Knicks, when they're hitting their 3-pointers and the floor is spaced, You got OG flying around, and you got Mikal Bridges making plays and fadeaways, and you got Deuce hitting 3-pointers from the outside coming off the bench. The Knicks can beat anybody. But the problem is, can those nights happen more consistently? And can they string those kinds of games together a lot more closely than as sporadically as have we seen? And just have to remember, we're only 20, 25, 26 games in to the NBA season. So those guys are still trying to find their way. Two teams that I really like to come out of the West, though, are the Thunder and the Rockets. The Thunder, despite missing Chet Holmgren, playing excellent, but they did just get back Isaiah Hartenstein, our glorious king. He came, he came back and he's been killing. He's been killing.
Walking double-double.
He's been killing for them lately, and we all know what SGA do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the Rockets, they're gonna have Fred VanVleet. He's gonna shoot 30 shots to get 20. You know what I'm saying? So, you got him. But no, all jokes aside, he's a gritty lead. He's the leader that team needs. You got Jalen Green playing great basketball. So, the Warriors got an outside chance. But if I have to pick two teams coming out of either conference, I'd say it'd be the Knicks, because if we go up against the Bucks can't do nothing with us. The floor spacing is too much for them to handle. They've gotten better as the season has gone on defensively. They ripped off like 8 out of 9 victories last couple of games recently. So they've been on a hot streak. But I don't think that they have anything for the Knicks. They're able to build that wall. OG Anunoby's made it difficult on Giannis. But I think ultimately the Knicks are going to have to play some top-tier playoff basketball in order to be able to have a shot. But I like the Thunder to come out on top in the Emirates Cup this year.
Heard that. Well, with the Knicks, I love the points you guys made, especially pointing out that consistency. We'll see them, blow Denver out the water and then lose to Detroit. So there's that variance that's always there. But we have seen this team perform elite level offense. When those guys are clicking, they can beat anybody. All we got to do is win a home game against Atlanta. We're favored by almost 8 points. We win that game. We're on a neutral site playing Milwaukee. That they have no stoppers on the perimeter. Chris Middleton,
Swiss cheese.
I did see Chris Middleton might be back for that game, but remains to be seen. But I still think we could take him even with them. But my pick to win it all is actually the Warriors. Listen, out west, they have the Rockets number. This is giving me real big brother, little brother vibes. And Steph has had the Rockets number for years. They've had OKC's number for years. Draymond made the comment a couple weeks ago that they can't win because they're not serious enough about it, right? They're very, very talented, but he made that. I feel like they're just
SGA got Steph's number though.
Does he? Steph didn't play the other night when they won, and the Warriors have already beaten OKC this season.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Y'all must have forgot that social media post where he broke Steph down, cracked his ankles. You heard?
We gonna see.
Come on, man. You talking about you talking about an old Steph? Come on, man. I won't go with that.
I ain't forgot.
We'll see. Put y'all bread up then.
Hey, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see the Mavs and the Warriors.
That'll be interesting.
That'll be
really interesting. To be honest, we've got
Mavs ain't no pushover. We ain't showed them no respect.
We've gotten this played out. This gave us fantastic matchups. Of course, Franz and Paolo didn't play against the Bucks tonight, but we got, as I mentioned, Knicks versus the F. Trae Young Atlanta Hawks. You got Rockets Warriors, Mavs Thunder. And then you got the winners of those. That's just fantastic matchups all over the place. And then outside of the bracket, you still got Boston. You still got, Minnesota trying to find their way. You got a lot of teams that can be competitive and are going to try to have something to say at the end of the season, try to win it all. But, let's see how this plays out. I know, boys, we're going to be locked in tomorrow. I might have to throw the Brunson jersey on. This hat is coming right back on. They might make me stand the entire game. I'm trying to win that by double digits, boys. Let's make it happen. But on that note, keeping staying with the Warriors, man, it just made me think about the ceiling for a couple teams this season. Where can they go? right now, like if the roster remains unchanged, what do you guys see as the ceiling for the Warriors? I think playoffs for sure, but
Top six?
I think they can win a first round matchup. Second round, it's gonna depend because I do think the teams at the top got better. The Rockets are really competitive. I do think OKC, when they get Chet Holmgren back, they have no holes. And what makes them dangerous is that they can substitute without sacrificing offense or defense. Like that is, I don't think people understand how huge that is, especially when you get in the playoffs. When you look at Minnesota, they got to bench Rudy Gobert all the time because he can't shoot. He's an offensive liability. Then they go hack a Gobert. Yeah, so it's like each team. That's why Boston is so good. They don't sacrifice offense when they make substitutions for defensive purposes. And in order to win a championship, more often than not, that's the versatility you need. So I think, if they run up against a team like OKC, I think they could beat them in the cup. It's one and done. But when you get into the best of seven, it's a different story. And I think OKC is deep enough. And it remains to be seen if, like the likes of Andrew Wiggins could capture that magic he did in the 22 finals. Gary Payton Jr., he gets hurt all the time. He's playing well now, but hopefully he can stay healthy for the long run. Same thing with Draymond and Steph. As you know, they're all getting older. But Darnell, ceiling for the Warriors?
I think if the Warriors could finish in the top six, I give them a really good shot to make it. I would say, what? I'll say they could win a first round, maybe give a really strong push in the second, in the semifinals, But then again, we doubted them before. And 2 years ago, look what happened. You know what I mean? So I can't discredit them because I said, like, it's what we always talk about, right? That championship DNA. Can they hold serve against anybody else? And on a night where Steph could get hot, and Kuminga comes in and give you some points. Draymond playing with passion still, to the as you watch him, on their
Isn't Draymond coming off the bench?
But he still got, but he's still passionate.
It was because he took some time off. Back. He got injured.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he comes back and he gives you 110%, and I think with a team like that right now, it's not much of the ceiling, it's just how much can they fight through to really get that win. So I think the ceiling is a good term to put it, but I'll say how much can they really push forward as a team collectively, to get that W. So that's how I'll say for them. I get them to the semifinals.
Yeah.
If the teams I think above get eliminated, they can make it Western Conference Finals, which would be interesting to see, how they could really stand up with all of those games as well. Because I know they don't, load management and stuff like that as well.
So it sounds like Darnell and I are a little bit on the same page there. Second round, John, higher, lower, or just right?
I'll leave you guys with the predictions on Golden State. I shout out to Steve Kerr for unlocking Buddy Hield as the second splash brother, as the second coming splash brother. Bro.
Buddy has been waiting for this offense his entire career.
Motion, screen, and let him
shoot him. Shoot it. I don't care if you miss 7. Shoot it.
Just be a gun. Just be out there and be a gunner. You know what I'm saying? Listen. I like if I have to choose a team as a dark horse that I think right now is in a valley and they'll soon hit their peak is the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that I do because I think that the Lakers, they have the pieces. And they have a new coach, and they're still trying to figure out how to play defense and remain consistent too. I think that they're in a tough spot. They have scoring from Dalton Connect, shooter that they need, but they're not getting the contributions that they need from their guys like D'Lo. They still haven't had
Rui breakout.
Vanderbilt still hurt.
Vando's hurt. When those guys come back, I think that they're going to be a force to reckon with, especially with JJ. JJ's already shown that he has the chops to be an excellent coach because guess what? He's not tippy-toeing around guys. He's calling dudes out, especially LeBron, which I'm like, I didn't think that was going to happen given the nature of their relationship. But look at how he's had Anthony Davis playing. That's going to be the tail of the tape for me. How long he'll be able to keep up that pace. Of scoring, rebounding, and playing, hold and serve on the back line of the defense. So I think that the Los Angeles Lakers, if they can stay steady, they'll be able to rip off a couple of wins in the second half of the season, especially if they're getting back all their pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see. They definitely stand a chance. You know, it definitely seems like AD being the focal point and putting up 25 and 15 every night is going to be the answer and what they need to do long term. LeBron is obviously getting older. Yeah. He can still get you a 30-point triple-double, obviously. But I think the weight needs to be shifted to AD so that he can lead the team and just have LeBron follow. Like, at this point, LeBron is luxury, right? He's a commodity, right?
Yeah.
If you unlock AD and have LeBron play second fiddle, I feel like that opens up an entirely different world. They need to get healthy. They need to get Vanderbilt back. But, you know, back to my point of OKC, you know, being able to substitute without sacrificing offense and defense, that's where I think that's going to be a problem for the Lakers because their best offensive lineup is not their best defensive lineup. And their issue this season has just been, you know, just being a turnstile on the perimeter, right? Like we can't just ask AD every time we need you to just block everything at the rim. Like there has to be
help defense every time.
There has to be some resistance on the perimeter, better rotations, more attention to detail. You know, I'm sure JJ is going to get them to that. Sean, you brought up the point a while ago. We're only about 25 games in the season. We're about a quarter way, which is where teams start to figure out who they are, try to figure out what they actually need, and maybe, you know, front offices are putting things in place to start making, all right, we need to make this transaction because trade deadline's coming up in a few weeks here, and we need to figure out how we're going to make this team last throughout to the end of the playoffs. And another team in the Valley right now who we can take a look at and see what's their ceiling. Joel Embiid just came back for the Sixers, put up 31. They won that game. They're currently sitting right outside the playoff picture. But, you know, it's always been said, you know, the East has not been really good as the West. The bottom of the East, they're all under 500. You know, you would like to think with Embiid and PG and Maxey all healthy, they can win some games. It's going to be a tough climb. Listen, they don't want to be in that position they're in because they're going to be there. They're going to win the play-in. They're going to get the 8th seed, and they're going to get trounced by Boston.
Their ass by Boston.
Or Cleveland, right? And I think that's going to be – I mean, it'll be an interesting matchup if they do play Cleveland for sure because then you got Embiid versus the bigs over there. Who knows? I think they have a better shot beating Cleveland in the playoffs with a low seed than they do Boston. I think Boston would get rid of them fairly quickly just because of their versatility, if everyone is healthy, of course. But listen, they got to pick it up. They got to get chemistry. Embiid got to get in shape. They got to, you know, iron out the kinks. These injuries are crazy. Paul George has a hyperextension on the same knee twice. Like,
he got more podcast episodes than games played.
Darnell, what's the crazy, man? Because
it goes on and on.
It seems like the top of the East is just going to be too much for them to overcome.
You know, like as I said, like as you were doing that, I said, hey, let me check out. I'm just going to say, January is the make or break for the Sixers season, in my opinion. You know, but look at this. This is some of the games.
They can't win the chip. The chip is out the window this year. That's done.
Yeah,
that's done.
But check this out. In January, they played. So they got a little break. They start off on the 2nd of January. They play the Warriors, but the gauntlet for them, I think, is in the middle. Pause. So they play the Magic, the Magic, the Thunder, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Bucks, the Nuggets, the Cavs.
Oof.
In a row.
Good luck.
That's a gauntlet.
And that's been the problem, and that's why the talking heads all over the media has said it, because it's like, yo, this schedule's been kind of a cake so far. You know, obviously they've had some big games in there, but
that's
January.
That January is the make or break for their season, man. Like that's at least 8 games. Like half of their games, they got 17 games in January. 8 to 9 of their games are very difficult games for them to play. You know, so I said, like, of course, as Knicks fans, we got our hatred for the Sixers, but, you know, it's just amazing that team, nobody's been healthy at all. PG's not been healthy. Maxey's missed a couple of games. And B said no back-to-back. It's like, what is really going on with this franchise that they just can't seem to get their stuff together? And it's just going all the way back.
The process.
The process has been going on for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, something is wrong with that organization, you know? So I think that's something you got to point towards. And if they could even squeak by some of those games, at least to come out 500 on them, yes, but I don't see it. Especially if they have any back-to-backs. I didn't really check and see, but you got a back-to-back, it ain't happening.
On what they gonna do, man? What they gonna do? They just signed Paul George, a 4-year deal. And B just signed an extension.
Don't even get into it.
Get out of this
FJB. don't even get all into that. A franchise is led by its franchise player. And when the franchise player has to be called into a team meeting to have a conversation about his effort during practice and his availability on the court on a regular basis, there's problems. There's huge problems internally. You imagine that a young guy like Tyrese Maxey, who had his coming out party last season, has to emerge as the leader of this basketball team when it should be Joel Embiid. You know, Joel Embiid comes into camp out of shape, and he's always injured as a result of it. He doesn't participate. He doesn't go as hard in practice. I remember a couple of years ago on Pat Bev's podcast, he was talking about, running suicides with Joel. And he was like, okay. Like he was like forcing him, like he was forcing bro to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Even the MVP season when he just met the threshold of 65 games and then he won. And it was like, it's like he took his foot off the gas because he won an MVP because that's exactly what he wanted. Joel Embiid's character has been peeled back in front of everybody to see on a multitude of different times, especially in front of teammates. And it's proven to be the same end result every single time. Now, Paul George is just a victim of circumstance. We all love Paul George's game.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan
it's
of
unfortunate,
Paul George.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's just off injured. You know what I mean? And yes, the Sixers acquired a few pieces to be able to supplement those guys that are going to be the superstars, the front runners for the basketball team, but they're not meant to stand on their own. You can't rely on a Kyle Lowry to bring it every single night. He's not the same player. You can't rely. And no disrespect to these guys, but they're on the other end. They're on the back end of their careers. They're on the back end of their careers. You look at Andre Drummond, excellent rebounder, good defender in the paint, offensively challenged on the back end of his career. So you look at all of these pieces. There's only but so much Tyrese Maxey can work with. And all of that said, they still have a shot to make noise in the playoffs because of how talented they are and the pieces and how well they fit. Because before the season even started, Stephen A. and a lot of NBA contributors were saying that they were the second best team in the East, despite the roster that the Knicks put together. True. So I like the Sixers in the regard that if they can get healthy and get their act together, which is a big if, they can definitely be able to make noise in the East. But I don't see that happening this season. Maybe in seasons coming, but I don't.
Not that gone.
Listen, man, GG's to them boys. Too much drama, too many injuries. It's a wrap. We have no precedent for this. It's not going to happen this year. They might make some noise, but the chip is out the window. Better luck next year. But wrapping it back up to the Knicks, just want to talk to y'all real quick. We're a quarter way through the season. Who won that Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle trade? Who won the trade? I'll say the Knicks won the trade thus far. Minnesota and their fans are getting the Julius Randle experience. Right? He can put up 30. He's going to put up 30 on some nights. He's going to grab 12 rebounds some nights. He's going to hit game winners some nights. But every single night, he's going to up fake, pivot.
Julius gonna
dribble into two defenders.
Triple team.
Jump pass. Give it to an open guy with 2 seconds left on the clock or throw it out of bounds. And I've seen plenty of highlights. And, just watching Cat be unselfish with the basketball, cutting without the basketball, shooting a three at an insanely efficient clip, rolling to the basket, banging on dudes, talking about New York, New effing York. He understood the assignment when he came here, and he's doing the damn good job. Of course, the Knicks got to figure it out defensively. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Shout out to Knicks Fan TV calling them Wingstop. I like that name. Wingstop.
Oh, that's a good one.
Shout out CP the franchise.
Shout out CP.
That's a good one.
So boys, who won that trade so far? Just give me quick 1 minute thoughts on the Knicks. We already spoke about them. Hopefully they could get to Vegas and we'll really have something to root for this week in the Emirates NBA Cup. Sean, who won the trade? so far, quarter way through the season.
Call Anthony Towns. It's the easy choice. You know, he's already transformed the Knicks into a spacing nightmare on the offensive end, whether or not they have a great shooting night, because of his ability to drive the basketball and his court vision, which is Jokic-esque. You know what I'm saying? He's averaging. Listen, he's not even fringe All NBA. He is first team All NBA right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody. I mean, other than Jokic, obviously, but I don't see anybody else that can that's playing better basketball than him as a big man in the East. Conversely, looking at Julius Randle, I mean, that was the reason why the Knicks traded him, right? Because he's not as adaptable to the players around him and fitting a skill set and a need for what has to happen on the court. And you're seeing it with the Timberwolves.
This version of the Knicks would not work with Julius Randle.
No, it would not. And
no.
You know, it's evident, you know, and especially with Rudy Gobert, who's not the greatest player for spacing. Julius Randle's, you know, has been shooting a decent clip from the outside, surprisingly, this season. Not surprisingly because he puts the work in. But, you know, he's shooting a better percentage from three, but you can still see that spacing and over dribbling and spinning into double teams is still an issue for him. But, you know, as far as who won the trade, I think the easy and immediate answer is the New York Knicks.
Yeah, Darnell, I read the stat this week that of teammates and duos who put up more than 50 points a game, I think the Knicks currently hold the third or fourth highest efficiency in league history.
Yeah.
Not this season, league history. Talk to me a little bit more about that Brunson-Cat connection and just the Knicks overall, and, you know, your early thoughts on them.
You know, it was a few nights ago that when Precious came back, they actually went into the complete switch defense, which is crazy. You talking about you're passing, nobody's getting a jump on you. You're passing the defenders moving and the rotations and how they were doing. It looked like classic Tibbs when he was on the Bulls, and the Bulls had that long, lanky players that just, you know, they
Kirk Heinrich,
Joakim Noah.
They all just were able to just switch and make plays. So I like the fact that Brunson is not having to do everything every single night. I love the fact that OG has become a better offensive weapon. You know, you're seeing that he's perfecting his game. And I said my biggest thing too, like the biggest question mark for us as a team is just Josh Hart. You know what I mean? Like what version of Josh Hart are you going to get?
If we get that shooting version,
we're seeing it right now. Josh,
no. That's what I'm saying. That was a question mark.
I got to tag in real quick. Josh Hart has been the team unsung MVP this season.
He's been a catalyst.
On the court.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is we just didn't know now that he's thrust
that we're going to get this level of play.
That we're going to get this level of play. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Offensively,
you know what I mean? Yeah, offensively, because this is Villanova Josh Hart. This is not the Lakers. This is not Pelicans. This is not Portland Trailblazers. This is Villanova Josh Hart playing in the Garden. And that's what
isn't that what we were looking? But isn't that what we were looking for? Right? That's exactly what we were looking for when they said that the Villanova connection is going to be there. You got the only difference is we got Devo up in Minnesota, who allegedly they're looking to trade.
He might come back.
And you never know. You never know.
That would be the biggest fleece deal of all time in the NBA history.
Right. Imagine he says like, "Yo, buy me out," and just comes back.
Yeah,
that would be awesome, bro. But I don't see that happening.
Nah,
you know, that'll put us in second apron for sure because we're right there first apron.
And not only that, Minnesota held out the entire time over the summer with the cat trade because they wanted to go involved. So they're not going to give up on him a quarter way through the season. But boys, this was fun. Can't wait, bro. Next time we record, it's gonna be Knicks holding the trophy.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Can't wait.
Your lips to God is, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all again. Of course, do it all. Like, subscribe. Hit us on BlueSky.
All of that.
Instagram. You know the vibes. YouTube.
And of course, the X.